What's up everyone? In this episode I'm back at Deuce's for some $40 turbo tournament action. Here we go. I get quite the warm welcome to the table as I take my seat, and the very first hand I pick up is Pocket Kings. Let's go. The tournament just got started, so we're all playing very deep stack here. Things could get interesting. There's a limp from the middle position player before the cutoff raises to 600. Quite a large raise, making it 12 times the big blind, and I love to see it. Action is now on the button, who min clicks it back to 1200. I'm gonna go ahead and 4-bet it to 4000, almost half my stack, clearly committing myself. I'm just hoping for no ace on the flop so that I can comfortably shove. It doesn't come to that though, as the cutoff snap raises all in for less than 2000 more. The button calls for even less. I'm obviously not going anywhere. I make the call, and so very first hand, I'm in a 3-way all in with 370 big blinds in the middle. The cutoff flips over ace king offsuit and the button shows pocket tens. I'm a big favorite to win a massive pot here. Let's go to the run out. The flop comes deuce deuce 6 rainbow. The turn comes a jack, and the river is a 5. Let's go. Couldn't ask for a better start to the tournament. At the 50-100 level, there's an under the gun raise to 600, and I look down at ace queen offsuit in middle position. I 3-bet to 2000. The hijack cold calls, and under the gun makes the call as well. 3 ways to a flop of jack, king, 10 with 2 diamonds. Boom! I flop nuts. Under the gun checks to me, and I'm going to c-bet big here. Boards containing face cards and 10s tend to connect really hard with the type of hands people will have in 3-bet pots. My opponents are going to have a lot of 2 pairs, some sets, some pair and flush draw combos, hands they'll be willing to pay a pretty large bet with. I bet just under pot for 4000. The hijack doesn't fold, he doesn't call either. He rips it in for 5,400 total. Action is now on the under the gun player, who has about 7,000 in their stack, but they just call. Kind of curious, but definitely annoying because I don't have the option to re-raise all in. I can only make the call. It doesn't really change much since they only have 3,000 behind. I'll be either calling or going all in on the turn no matter what card comes. The card doesn't matter, but I would appreciate if it wasn't the jack of hearts pairing the board. On this card, the under the gun player leads into me by going all in for 29.25. I'm obviously calling, and I once again find myself in a 3-way all in for a ton of chips. Showdown time. Hijack shows 10-9 of diamonds for a flopped gut shot straight flush draw. Turns out the straight flush is what they need to win, as under the gun flips over pocket 10s for the turn full house. So I am drawing completely dead. Always a nice feeling. I couldn't care less what the river comes, but for you at home, it's the deuce of hearts. I flopped nuts, but I end up losing almost half my stack. It sucks. In this hand, I get dealt king jack offsuit on the button, and there's an open from under the gun for 400. I ignore basic poker strategy, which would probably recommend a fold with king jack against an under the gun open. Not only do I ignore it, I straight up disrespect it by 3-betting to 1500. The small blind cold calls my 3-bet, and the initial raiser folds. We go heads up to a flop of 10, 3 ace with 2 spades, and the small blind checks to me. I pick up a gut shot straight draw on the board that favors me as the pre-flop aggressor. I'm going to c-bet for 2500, and the small blind calls. The turn comes the queen of spades, putting a flush out there, but giving me the nuts straight. And on this card, the small blind decides to rip it all in for a little over 6,000. I don't love the 3 spades being out there, but I don't think folding a straight is an option at this point. They got it, they got it. I call, and they don't got it. They show ace queen of diamonds, so I need to dodge an ace or a queen for the win. Third hand I get involved in, third all in with a ton of chips in the middle. Can I hold? Yes, the river is the 7 of spades. I take this one down with the straight. I'm back to where I was before losing the previous hand. Let's keep it going. At the 100-200 level, I pick up 10-9 suited, and the under gun player has limped. With plenty of chips in my stack, I decide to 3-bet to 1000. Both the hijack and small blind cold call the 3-bet, and under the gun gets out of the way. We go 3 ways to a flop of jack, ace, 8, rainbow. The small blind checks. With 10 high and a straight draw, I decide to c-bet for 2000. The hijack then raises all in for just over 12k. Small blind folds, and I'm a little bit frustrated. I knew that my hand was better played as a check call and see if I improve on the turn. Instead, I open the door for the hijack to deny me my equity. I make the fold, and the hijack shows ace-king offsuit. In this next one, I pick up another suited connector, jack-10 of hearts, and I'm first to act. Still sitting on over 100 big blinds, I decide to mix it up and open to 600. The hijack calls, and the button 3-bets all in for 2900. The small blind cold calls. It's Debatable, but I decide to make the call, and now the hijack, who initially flat called my raise, 4 bets all in for around 14,000. Action is now on the small blind, who calls the all in. What the hell is going on? I cannot fold my hand fast enough. The hijack shows ace queen, the button king jack, and the small blind pocket sixes. They go 3 ways to a run out, which comes 5, 6, 8 with 2 hearts. Small blind flops a set. Turn comes the 5 of diamonds, which seals the deal. Small blind is going to take this one down with the full house. Looking to get some momentum back at the 200-400 level, there's a limp from the under the gun player, and I peel ace king suited in the small blind. The middle position player raises to 1200, the button calls. I'm going to 3-bet to 4200. Action folds to the button, who seems to be debating between a fold or a call. They ultimately make the call. We go heads up to a flop of queen 8, queen rainbow. I think both checking and firing a small c-bet are fine, although in this particular spot, I don't think I can get value from a worse hand or get a fold from a better one, so I opt for a check. The button seizes the opportunity to fire a bet of 3,500, and although there's a good chance I have the best hand, this player seems pretty tight to me. I haven't seen them get out of line so far, and with no backdoor straight or flush draws, I decide to make a disciplined laydown. The player later claimed to have king-queen, which would explain the hesitation pre-flop, and having played with this player since this tournament, I'm inclined to believe them. Nice hand, on to the next. At the 400-800 level, I pick up king-queen suited on the button. There's a limp from the middle position player, hijack raises to 2,400, and with just over 10,000 in my stack, I'm going to 3-bet all in, and both players make the fold. We're now at the 500-1000 level when I get dealt ace-queen offsuit on the button. There's an open to 2,000 from the under the gun player, and the low jack calls. With just over 14,000 in my stack, I debate between 3-betting and going all in. I ultimately choose the latter and rip my stack in. Under the gun player gets out of the way, and the low jack decides to make the call with queen 9 suited, so I have them completely dominated. Let's dodge some clubs. The flop comes 10, king, 5, rainbow. The turn is an ace, giving me top pair. My opponent cannot win, they can only chop with a jack. The river is the 7 of hearts. No chop, sir. I take the whole thing down. Nice to be back on an upswing. My stack reaches a new peak of just over 26,000. We're now at the final table, and I look down at king 10 suited from under the gun. I open to 2,500, folds around to the hijack with 3 bets all in for 16,000. Action folds to the small blind, who decides to call for less. I'm forced to fold. The hijack shows ace king suited, and the big blind shows aces. Wow, 2 monster hands going head to head. The flop comes 7-9 king with 2 spades. I would have flopped top pair with the king high flush draw. Turn is a deuce of spades, which would have given me the nuts. No! The river is the 7 of clubs, and aces is going to take this one down. Quickly going through this one, I pick up ace jack in the big blind. There's a limp from the hijack in the small blind. I decide to rip it in, pick up the dead chips. Both players fold, and I take it down. In this following hand, I look down at ace queen suited from the button. The middle position player straight up jams for just over 20,000. Action folds to me. I'm going to 3-bet all in for around 25k. It goes back around to the middle position player, and they show pocket 8s. Flipping for a big pot here. Whoever takes it down will have a decent shot at making a top 3 finish. Let's hope it's me. Onto the flop we go, which comes 3 deuce 5 with 2 diamonds. I pick up extra outs, as a 4 would give me a straight. Turn is the 7 of hearts. I need an ace, queen, or 4 to win this one. The river is the jack of hearts. The good news, if you want to be overly positive, is that I had the middle position player covered by about 4,000, so I get those chips back. The bad news is that blinds just went up, so I now have barely 2 big blinds in my stack. The poker gods throw me a lifeline though, as I get dealt ace king suited in the cutoff. There are limps from the under the gun and middle position players before I go all in. For barely a min raise, both limpers are going to make the call. Potential triple up coming my way. Let's go to the flop. It comes ace 5-6 with 2 clubs. I flop top pair, top kicker, and both players check. The turn is a king of clubs, giving me top 2 pair. Let's go. Under the gun checks, and this time middle position bets 3,500. Under the gun folds, and so I'm going up against the middle position player for the entire pot. I show my ace king. I ask my opponent if they got the flush, to which they say no. And then they show pocket 5s for a flop set. Ugh. Not drawing dead though, I can hit an ace or a king for the win. The river is the 8 of clubs, and I'm out. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to tune in for the next one as I score my biggest cash game win since starting the vlog. I hope to see you there. Thanks for watching, good luck at the tables, and see you in the next one.